Okay, Mataji, if you allow, we'll get started. Om Ajnanatinirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinakarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityaramni Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So we are continuing the series on Narada Muni. Narada Muni. So Kartik, do you know who Narada Muni is?
Yes.
So did you attend one of the previous classes where we discussed about Narada meeting different devotees?
I think I missed last week, but I joined the week before that.
Very good. So in the previous week, we were discussing about Narada speaking to a king by the name Prachinabarhishat. Okay. And we also saw the section of Puranjana, the story of Puranjana from Srimad Bhagavatam. So Narada, what he did was, he told an allegoric story to a king by the name Puranjana. That's what we did in our previous session. But in today's session, what we are going to do is we are going to see how Narada met with the sons of Prachinabari. Prachinabari had 10 sons. They are called as the Prachetas. Okay. Now, all these Prachetas, they were very, very great devotees and they performed great austerities. You know who they saw face to face? They saw both Lord Shiva and the Supreme Lord face to face. So that is like, you can imagine what wonderful devotees they are. Now, these Prachetas, they wanted to perform severe austerities so that they could please their father. And they all got married to one lady by the name Marisha. Okay. So they were in family life for some time. And at one point, Narada Muni comes to them. Narada Muni comes to them and tells them, "Oh, Prachetas, you have been doing such great austerity, but remember the topmost goal of life is devotional service." So now Narada Muni comes and he speaks to the Prachetas. Okay, that is the section we are going to see today. So Kartik, tell me, which is the favorite analogy that you have heard so far? Prabhupada gives many analogies in his books, right? And naturally in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many different analogies. One analogy, for example, very famous analogy is, let's think, the living entity is like a particle of gold, while the Lord is like the gold mine. When you water the root of the tree, the entire tree is nourished. Similarly, when you serve the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, all the demigods are satisfied. You've heard of such analogy?
I think I heard that, yes.
So do you remember any analogy that you like? Anything?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I heard one, I don't know if it's from Srila Prabhupada, it might be.
Yeah,
I heard that you shouldn't water the leaves of a plant because that doesn't make it grow. You water the roots, and the roots take the water and transfer it to the rest of the leaves, so it can help it grow.
Very nice, Karthik, yes. So this Narada Muni, when he saw the king Prachinabarhi, he began to speak to him about bhakti. He said, "You're doing a lot of different activities. You're doing austerity."
I will also share, Mataji, as only Karthik.
Oh yeah, I thought you were. Yeah,
but I couldn't stop myself, Mataji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mataji, I just wanted to share one analogy that a bird within a cage, right? How Srila Prabhupada explains, like if you are not able to feed your soul, that is giving Krishna consciousness to the soul or God consciousness, then you are like a bird within the cage, who the owner only is taking care of the cage but not the bird. Actually, he's supposed to feed the bird also, but then the owner is just thinking, okay, let me just decorate the cage and everything. It's like that. So we as living being, we have to take care of the body, that is needed, yes, but we also needs to take care of the soul, that is, which is very very important for us. So that I remember, Mataji, just want to share.
Very nice. Yes, Mataji. The body and the soul, the cage and the bird. That analogy. That's a very famous. Very. So it is interesting that Narad Muni, he was teaching the Prachetas with the help of analogies. And he continuously gave different analogies in his teaching. So he said the first analogy, this is famous analogy, pouring the water at the root of the tree. When you pour water, you pour it at the root of the tree. Like Karthik said, you don't sprinkle water on the twigs and the leaves and everything. Another analogy he says, when you have to energize the body, where do you put the food? Do you put it to the hands or do you put it to the legs, Karthik? Where do you put the food when you have to get energy?
You put it in your mouth so you can swallow it, and it takes it to the rest of your body, the energy.
Yes, yeah, you feed the stomach through your mouth. So these two analogies, which Prabhupada has often quoted, comes directly from a verse in the Bhagavatam. So it says, as pouring water on the root of the tree energizes the trunk, branches, twigs, and everything else, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and limbs of the person. Similarly, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies all the demigods who are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so generally our acharyas, the point I want to make is more generally, okay, our acharyas, they, even the analogies they give are generally from Shastra. Of course, they give new age analogies also. It is a common thing. According to time, place, and circumstance, they use different new age analogies. But you'll see that some of the classic analogies, these are all directly from the Bhagavatam book. Then he says one more analogy. He says, during the rainy season, water is generated from the sun. And in due course of time, during the summer season, that same very water is again absorbed by the sun. Correct? When it rains, it comes from the clouds, right? So how did the clouds get the water? Because the sun was sucking the water during the summertime. So the clouds got filled up, and the same water that the sun had sucked begins to burst, and then we get rain. Similarly, all living entities, moving and inert, are generated from earth, and again after some time, they all return to earth as dust. This is just the truth, right? Everything in this world finally goes back to the earth. Everything that comes from earth goes back to earth. Like that, everything that emanates from the Supreme Lord in due course of time enters into Him again. This means that the Lord is the creator and He is the destructor, and we all go back to the Supreme Lord. We come from the Supreme Lord and we go back to the Supreme Lord. Okay? Another analogy. He says, just as the sunshine is non-different from the sun, the cosmic manifestation is also non-different from the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is therefore all pervasive in this creation. When the senses are active, they appear to be a part and parcel of the body. But when the body is asleep, their activities are unmanifest. Similarly, the whole creation appears different and yet non-different from the Supreme Person. So just think, when you're sleeping, your senses are not active, but when you're awake, your senses are active, right? But the senses are always a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So sometimes it appears that the senses are one with our body, but sometimes it appears that they're completely different from our body. Just like the Supreme Lord, just like the sun and the sun rays. Sometimes it appears that the sun rays are somewhat different from the sun itself. How is that? The sun rays, they fall on earth, the sunshine falls on earth, and it doesn't burn you. But if you go really to the sun will really burn you, right? So they are different. But the sun and the sunshine cannot be separated, right? There is no question of sunshine without the sun. So they are also the same, like that. So he's telling we and this entire cosmic manifestation is coming from the Lord. it appears to be different from the Lord, but yet it is one with the Lord. And this is the truth. We are all eternal parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. Then he says, my dear king, sometimes in the sky there are clouds, sometimes there is darkness, and sometimes there is illumination. All this happens one after the other. Similarly, in the Supreme Absolute, the modes of passion, darkness, and goodness act as energies. Sometimes they appear and sometimes they disappear. So in this world, sometimes there is passion, sometimes there is goodness, and sometimes there is ignorance. So like this, through different analogies, he tells them about the greatness of the Supreme Lord and how we are all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and we should continuously worship the Supreme Lord through the process of devotional service. That is the only way we can attain him. So he gives this knowledge to the 10 Prachetas, 10 kings who are called as Prachetas. Now, we can't do a group activity, but of course, we can do something interesting. I want you to come up with some brain teasers or some riddles from Srimad Bhagavatam characters. So, you know different characters from scriptures, right? Like Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Ramayana. You might be knowing various characters. So tell me, give me a riddle. It can be a puzzle or it can be a question, and I should be able to guess the character. Think of a character in your mind, or I will get started. Like I will give you one character. Okay. She's a woman. She is golden in color, and she can control all the controllers. Who is that?
Radharani?
Radharani, yes.
I don't know. There's so many different characters.
Yeah, so because it's only you and me, so we are playing like this. But otherwise, I would have split the team, and I would have made half of them do cantos 1 to 6 characters, and the remaining 7 to 12 characters. So it would have been a big project. But you can just pick anybody.
Okay. He is crown prince, but he was not made king. His wife was stolen, and he is a master bowman.
No, go slow. I couldn't hear that.
Sorry. He is supposed to be king, but he's crown regent, but he does not become king. He is an expert bowman, and his wife is stolen.
His wife is?
Stolen.
Lord Ramchandra. Very nice, Karthik. Vinita Mataji, are you busy or do you want to unmute? Okay, I think she's busy. Okay. Okay, let me give you one more. Okay, I'll make it a little tougher. Okay, he's a demon, but he's not a demon because he did not support his brother demon, and he decided to support the enemy of his brother. Who is that?
Ravan's brother. No, not Ravan. What is his name?
Vibhishan.
I forget his name.
Vibhishan.
Vibhishan.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me think. I actually forget his name, but he was a devotee, but due to unwise choices, he became a demon, and therefore, due to his unwise choices, he met his end at Balaram's hand.
He met his end at Balaram. Oh, I know this. Is it Romaharshan? The one who was killed by Balaram, right?
Yes.
Yes. Romaharshan Sutta. Yes, correct. Yeah. Very nice. Actually, that was a unique one. Good. Then let me think. Mm. I don't know if this is okay, but he's a very funny boy. He has chubby cheeks, and he's always he always gets teased by all the cowherd boys, and he's Krishna's friend.
Oh, is it Subo?
Yeah, I mean you're close. Well, he's a
Uh,
Brahmana.
Oh,
He's a Brahmin boy who's Krishna's friend,
oh,
and he loves to eat.
oh! I know. I forget his name. I forget his name.
Madhumangal. Yeah, his name is
Yeah.
Madhumangal. Yeah. I know that was a little out of Bhagavatam, but still, yeah, I thought it was fun. Yeah.
Um,
Go for one more.
his mother made an unwise choice that ruined her life when she was trying to do something for him. And instead of being delighted, he was horrified and declared that she was no longer his mother. This one's,
Bharata?
yes.
Wow, cool. Okay, one more. Let me think. Okay. Um, he was, oh, this is going to be kind of easy. Okay, no, let's do this. Her child was in danger when he was in the womb, but she carried the Supreme Lord in her womb along with her child to protect her child. Who is she?
Uttama.
Yeah, wonderful. Very nice. Okay, one last one, and then I'll let you go. Actually, if this was a group task, then it would have taken more time, to come up with characters, put them together, and then challenge the other group and all that. But we'll do one more and we'll call it a day. The reason we are doing puzzles and brain teasers is because that is one of the ways of teaching in the Bhagavatam. You see, in the previous class, we did Narad Muni speaking to King Prachinabarhishat, and he spoke about an allegory, okay, a fictitious story. And that story had different teachings. So it is called Puranjanopakyanam. So that is a way of teaching, like now he's telling the sons of Prachinabarhi, he's giving them lots of analogies. He's teaching by the method of analogies. Sometimes Narad Muni teaches by the method of analogies. Sometimes he teaches by the method of riddles. Like he gives a very vague story, and then you have to figure out what is what. He makes you think, So that's what he did in the previously. So he teaches in terms of riddles, puzzles, brain teasers, and sometimes he even tells his own story, right? So to Vyasadeva, he told his own story about how he was the son of a maidservant in his previous life and the mistakes he did as a Gandharva. So he has different ways of teaching to different people. So that was the idea for today's class, to come up with different puzzles and brain teasers. Okay, one more. Go
Okay.
for it.
They were sons of demigod. They are sons of demigod, but they became intoxicated and they disrespected a very high, devotee of the Lord, and he cursed them that one day he cursed them, but then he blessed them, saying that one day they would be freed by Lord Krishna himself.
The others?
Uh,
No, I got it wrong.
yeah,
Oh, yes, I know this. I know this. Is it Nalakuvara and Manigriva?
yes.
Yes. Awesome. Nice. Okay. Wait. Okay. If I tell this, it's easy. Okay, his wives were great devotees. He was envious of the Lord. He lived in the waters of Yamuna, and Krishna. Take a guess now.
Kaliya serpent.
Correct. I didn't want to say he's a reptile, so okay. Yeah, the Karya serpent. You want to do one more, Karthik?
Okay.
Mm.
Hmm. I don't remember exactly because I heard a short story about this, but
Mm.
he was no, let's see, I'll do another one. I can't remember that one. Okay. He started out as a thief
Mm.
and he was plundering people. One
Mm.
day when he jumped a few ramanas and demanded that they pay him, they treated him with kindness and instead gave him knowledge and convinced him to turn to a better life, to pray to the Lord instead of giving him gold and silver they did not have.
Was it Mrigari?
No.
Was
He wrote an epic that
Valmiki? Valmiki.
yes.
Awesome, Valmiki. Okay. Okay, I'll tell you this. He loves to eat. He's very strong and um, um, and he loves his brothers.
Bhima.
Yeah. Yes. That's right. That's right. Nice. Okay. So I think we should call it a day, but it was fun playing with you, Karthik. And so, yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. So we'll end here.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Closing the call.